sorry I'm late, guys. Okay. So, here lies Ethan Growy. He was a man of great renown and known by all. He was, some would sing his praise about his persistence or his stubbornness, probably a little bit of both. He wants me to mention he could not get this far without his parents, mom, and dad. He wants us to start where it began, back in 2004.
Alright, let's see here. Ethan Growy was born April 10th of 2004. He was born with a disease called colic, which meant he cried more than other babies. So similarly to Odysseus, he was born a man of constant sorrow. This is a dramatic reenactment of Ethan's birth.
Agony.
In 2006, at the age of 2, Ethan and his family said farewell to Wichita and took a trip to Italy. Ethan was very excited and curious at his new surroundings. A little over a week in, his parents went to Rome while Ethan and his grandparents went to Switzerland. While he was on the train back to Switzerland, he seemed to find it amusing to lick the windows. At the age of 5, Ethan experienced something that made him feel vulnerable. He was in New Jersey visiting his family on his father's side. One day on the beach, he and his mother waded out into the ocean. Suddenly, a large wave came crashing down on them, causing his mother to lose her grip on him. This experience taught him just how weak we are as humans, and similarly to Odysseus, showed him how much power nature has over us. Not too long after that experience, Ethan wanted to learn to play the violin. He begged his parents for years, and they finally caved into his desires and did him the biggest favor of his life, getting him into music. If he did not fall in love with music at such a young age, he would not be enjoying his life as much as he is now. Despite being an amateur, Ethan's first recital went well. The song he played was called Seesaw.
Yes!
For many years, Ethan has felt uncertain in his own home. For the bulk of his childhood life, Ethan feared the dark. Many nights he would be unable to sleep and begin seeing things shift in the dark. Some nights he would see things creep across the floor, shake boxes, and he would even see shadows approaching him out of the corner of his eye. These experiences have made him feel that his family and friends were his sole protection from the dark. For 3rd grade, Ethan's parents thought it would be good for him to try out a different school. They took him to Buckner, where he felt like he did not belong because he was out of his element and not with friends, despite handling the situation very well.
So, for those of you who haven't experienced it before, going to a new school, it's kind of like this. If you've only eaten cucumbers for all of your life, and then you're like, you know, like you eat the cucumber, you understand its nuances and like everything about, like, you know how to eat the cucumber and you enjoy it. And then, you know, you're kind of just like, hey, oranges, never had it before, so you're like,
Most likely, his most emotional reunion was returning to Hyde after being at Buckner for a year. He met back with old friends and felt like he was at home again. During 5th grade, Ethan had to decide which middle school he wanted to go to. This was the time when many people gave him the same and best piece of advice he had ever been given.
That must be the mail. What do we have here? It's a letter. Will do.
At Robinson, Ethan was having issues with completing his work and began to accept worse grades. He now realizes that this was because of his focus more on video games than schoolwork. He had hit a plateau of sorts. During his time at Robinson, Ethan had to decide which instrument to play in the band. He really wanted to play saxophone, but ended up playing trombone.
Ethan, try this instrument. Okay,
I don't know, Doc. I don't think it's working out for me.
Sounded beautiful, but if you don't like it, whatever. All right, this one. Yep. Yep. No, you gotta use this. This is an important part. Seems like it's not right for you.
Yeah, sorry.
All right. Try this one. You're a natural. All right, here you go. There you go. Yep. Natural.
Thank you.
You're a natural.
I'm sure I'll really enjoy this.
And so he did until the summer of 7th grade, when he rented an alto saxophone and began playing in the jazz band. He really enjoyed it. Some would even say it was his most creative idea. Without saxophone, Ethan may not have had his music revival and would not have been as invested in music.
So I was thinking, you know the gramophone, Doc? So the gramophone that I own, not that one. That one. So I was thinking, gramophone's fine, don't get me wrong. Like, it can play VHS tapes all day, you know what I'm talking about. But I just think I need a little bit of a change, just a little, like, something a little snappier. Do you have any instruments like that?
And then there's free saxophone.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me test out the good old
It's really hard to
saxophone.
work out at first. Like, it's hard to play. You need to get the right embouchure to play the...
I think this is the one for me.
Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
And then, in Avengers Endgame... Wait, what's going on here? Oh... Ladies and gentlemen, we have a flashback from the past.
So in the summer of 2017, me and my family visited Costa Rica for the summer as a vacation so we could celebrate my grandparents' 70th birthdays. So we had 2 connecting flights there, and the first one it went fine. It was normal. Then on the second one, they had this kind of video screen on the seat in front of us on the plane. So they had this little graphic. It was basically like Google Earth that showed you where the plane was going, and it had a little red line. So everything was going normal. We were about 30 minutes out from Costa Rica. We were down here, and then I start seeing the plane kind of just go not to Costa Rica. So I was like, you know what? I don't know what's happening. So then the captain comes on and he's like, "This is your captain speaking. There's a storm in Costa Rica, so currently if we cannot find a good time to get in, we will have to go to a different country and visit there and go to Costa Rica in the next day." So we were like, great. Then the storm didn't let up, so we ended up in, ta-da, Nicaragua. And then in Nicaragua, we got off the plane, and then there was a 2 hours custom line, because it's international, so you have to So there was a 2 hour customs line, and then
After that, we had another line to get like a hotel pass, which like, because they needed all of us to be in like a hotel near the airport. So they sent all of us there, and then we had to get in like a taxi, and that was fine. I guess that took like 30 minutes, the taxi. And then we arrived at the hotel just for like another 2-hour line because everyone on that plane was there, and like it wasn't too big of a plane, but it was still like 80 people. So then everyone was waiting there, and they were understaffed, so it just took a long time. At the time we got in our room, it was like 1 in the morning. So then we got like a nice 3-hour sleep before the very early trip to Costa Rica in the morning. So it was just like, wow, congratulations, you made it to somewhere that probably won't take as long. Obviously we were wrong, because when we get to Costa Rica, we land, then like 10 minutes after we land, bang, the power goes out. For like 45 minutes there was no power there, which did not help us at all, because we still needed to collect our baggage, then get out of the airport. So then the power comes back on, and then we're going to look for our baggage, and then they lost the plane's baggage. And so that was like a 3-hour waiting for our baggage. We find our baggage, and then it's like, okay, cool, now we have our baggage. Now what do we do? So then we had to get on a bus to go to a car rental place, and that was like 30 minutes out. So that was like another 30 minutes. So this is already like in the afternoon. And then we get to the car rental place, we're like, oh wow, this is awesome. And then there's like an hour wait at the car rental place just to get a car, because I guess a couple people were going over there. And then we had like a 4-hour drive, I think, down to the place we were staying at. And don't get me wrong, the place was awesome, but it was so long. It took us so long to get there. It was so tiring. I felt dead. I felt dead.
In 8th grade, Ethan had the strangest experience of his life, being given laughing gas. The dentists were working on his teeth and decided to turn on the movie Trolls so he could pass the time. The laughing gas put him in a loopy state, which, in combination with his constant laughing and Trolls, made him feel like he was high. I actually don't know how it feels. I just said that based on assumption. I'm sorry if I offended.
Ethan is about to get his first 2 fillings, and right now he has laughing gas.
Ethan once again had to decide what school he wanted to go to, this time for 9th grade. Little did he know it was going to be the hardest decision of his life. His parents and him debated on a couple schools and whether or not to just do honors at East. In the end, he thinks he made the right decision. This decision has put Ethan on a path he does not want to quit, and he thinks that he is going to benefit greatly from the choice he made.
So then after the information session, you remember the part where they were talking about all the benefits of why IB was so good to do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what are you thinking? I mean, does it...
I mean, I don't know. It sounds like it's good, but it also sounds like it's a lot of work. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but...
I got the door. I have the door. I have the door. I have obtained the door. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Well, what do we have here? A little letter. I remember something like this 3 years ago. Hey, you know what? That sounds like some good advice. We'll get done. Yeah.
A couple months ago, Ethan was driving his mother, father, and younger brother to a family gathering. He had to act on impulse and narrowly made it out of the danger. This proved to him just how inexperienced he was at driving. Just like how Odysseus learned he was inexperienced at being a leader.
So I was driving myself, my mom, my dad, and my little brother, and so basically this is how it happened. This is how it went. This is how it happened. So like this is us. That's the other car, right? So I was like, okay. So it was like, so we were up here waiting for a left turn, right? And then I was like, I was gonna make it. I was like, I have time, and I was like, wait a minute, do I have time? And then everyone was like, so I was like, okay, and then I went like that kind of, but then like we narrow, and then we narrowly dodged it, and then it was like, and then it was like really cool because then we made it out alive, but it was really close. It was like that close. You know what I'm saying? Do we have any last remarks from the deceased? Actually, I do have a couple things I want to touch on. First of all, because you only covered the first 15 years of my life, there in the future, I do not have any legal unresolved problems. Okay, so add that to the will, and I think that'll be all. Yeah, that was pretty good. Good job.